Hello and welcome back to another episode of Charla Football. I am your host, as always, Gerardo, and I'm doing this solo today. And I know you guys have probably been thinking, where have you gone? But I've been on vacation. I was in Italy for a few weeks with my family, but I'm back. It was a good time to reset and refresh, and I'm ready. I'm ready to get back into everything. There was a big international window, so it fell in perfectly. Um, so I want to talk about Mexico specifically because that's what we like to cover on this channel. So if you guys are new, make sure to follow, subscribe, make sure to follow all social media platforms. And yeah, let's get right into it because it was a very prominent international window where we learned a lot of things, especially about the Mexican national team. We drew against Valencia 2-2 in a game in Puebla. And I mean, the big surprise about all this is, we're finally going back to Mexico to play some matches. And it's important for the Mexican national team to show and play in the cities and in the country that first off, you are from. I mean, we shouldn't be playing the states, but that's another topic for another video. But secondly, I mean, these people are excited to see their national team, and I think it's important to give them a show, to give them what they've been missing out on. Because I mean, when was the last time we played the U.S. and Mexico? When was the last time we played um, a friendly in Mexico in general? I mean, yeah, the last time I think we played was probably the versus Honduras in the Nations League, but that wasn't a friendly, that was an official tournament. But I think it's just so important to be out there with our people, with our crowd. And I mean, the first showing against Valencia in a 2-2 draw wasn't the best way to start, definitely, because I mean, we were playing against a Valencia C team essentially, and Valencia, while they didn't prove too much resistance, they did make the game difficult for Mexico, especially towards the latter stages of the match. Because I mean, first 20-30 minutes, Mexico was already up 1, I mean 2-0, sorry. And you would think that the game's in the bag, but unfortunately that's just not how it was. And I mean, given that Mexico are very shaky, not at the back necessarily, but just in general holding on to results. Um, Obviously, we let it slip, and there was a moment of desperation as soon as the game was over. You shouldn't be tying against a club team, and a team like Valencia, who are in 18th place in La Liga right now. Like, that is not a team you should be, you know, letting them catch up to you. And especially that they were missing basically their whole starting squad. They only had like two starting players playing the match. And for Mexico, I mean, there was a lot of things to point out. The fact that Charlie Rodriguez is still starting, um, that we didn't go out with a strong team, but I understand it in the sense that obviously we have a game against the US in just a few days. You want to keep these stronger players fresh for the game. The players are for sure going to be starting and playing that match. But I don't know. I mean, you guys let me know what you think. Should we be still testing and trying out new players, or should we start to find that starting 11? Because the World Cup is, I mean, less than 2 years away. So I think it's important to find that solid group of 11 players that will be most likely starting in the World Cup in 2 years' time. So, anyways, that's kind of painting the picture going into the Mexico versus the US game, which is the official match, the official friendly, because in FIFA's eyes, Mexico versus Valencia wasn't even a real friendly. But in this game, there was a lot of hype around it. I mean, Mexico hasn't beat the US in 5 years in general in recent times. And I think the last time we beat them in Mexican soil was like 15 years ago. But but for Vasco, importantly, it's been, he's had a good record against the States besides the 2002 fallout where we get eliminated in the World Cup. But in the last three games against the US, Vasco has been prominent. He's shown up. The last two times were in 2009, beating them 2-1 and then 5-0, and then this recent result, which is a big result for Mexico. It's honestly what they needed for confidence, for morale, and for the players, for the coaching staff to give them a little bit of breathing room, especially against a good team like the US, who were missing some of their star players. There was no Pulisic, no Weston McKinney, no Tyler Adams, no Timothy Weah. Those are like the big names, and I'm sure there's probably some that I'm missing. But that doesn't mean that they didn't have a good squad. They played what they had. They played it the best that they had. I mean, you still had players like Yunus Musa, Brendan Aronson, Josh Sargent, who's ripping it up in the championship. A lot of important players that were starting this match, and we're still that should have been more competitive if we're looking at it in a US standpoint. But now looking at it from the Mexico and from the Mexico side, I mean, from the first second, Mexico were all over the US. And that is the kind of performance that gives confidence to the Mexican supporters, that gives confidence to me, because that's what I want to see from this Mexican national team. Not only do I want to see them fight and pressure and not give any ball for dead, like to be going 100%, 200% in every challenge, but I want to see them play well, and they did for the most part of the game. They controlled the match, and they showed that they had maybe a little bit more importance. Maybe they took it with more importance, that they really wanted it more than the US, and it showed throughout the whole match. And it was very important for the Mexican national team, for Javier El Vasco Aguirre, to get this result, to play the way they did, not just to win, but to play in a way that shows that you're on your comeback, you're on your way back. And yeah, I mean, and also what was important was the fact that this was Guardado's last match. And, it was an emotional time for most Mexican fans, I'm sure, and for him as well, because, I mean, he's one of the most capped Mexican players, one of the most capped international players ever. I think he's up there with the likes of Ronaldo, with Messi. 180 caps is insane. And a player like Guardado, I mean, he's still fit. Just like a year and a half ago, he was playing at Betis. Now he's at Leon, captain for Leon. He's still starting. He's still playing. He's still able to get. I think honestly, in this match for Mexico against the US, he probably could have played at least like 50, 60 minutes if he really wanted to. But the fact that they took him off at the 18th minute, I mean, it was beautiful. Beautiful scenes. The people in Guadalajara were spectacular. It was like a party, mariachi music playing. Um, the fans were excited to have their national team in the home. It's been a while since they played in Guadalajara. So overall, it was a beautiful moment, and for the Mexican national team, for the fans, for Guardado specifically. So honestly, just it's gonna be sad not to have him, not to see him play with the Mexican national team, not to lead the team out onto the field. But I think this is the perfect send off. Before with that important saying, that very popular saying that a lot of people say, "Leave football before the football leaves you." And I think that's what Guardado needed to do. Specifically for the Mexican national team. I think maybe after his time in Leon, in this season, it's probably going to be wraps for him. And Vasco has already said that he's more than happy to welcome Guardado into his Mexican, um, into his staff. So let me know if you guys think that would be awesome to see, maybe him get like a role in the national team staff. I mean, that'd be awesome for me to see, because we need more coaches, we need more of these important players to step up. People who are recognized internationally as well, we needed them to step up and become coaches, kind of like how we're seeing with Marquez. So I think it would be very, very good for the Mexican national team and for Guardado as well. But now going to the actual game, first off, the starting 11, let's give my quick impressions on that. I thought it was a strong starting 11. There was a few players that I thought were missing, that I didn't want in that starting 11. I'm looking at Jorge Sanchez specifically. I'm looking at Luis Romo, who I know he's done well, but I mean, this match specifically, he didn't do anything spectacular. Even though he came in the 18th minute for Guardado. Um, I think the main player that just did not want to see was Jorge Sanchez. I think is a player that has let Mexico down in a lot of occasions, and I think he's let himself down, honestly. I mean, you go to Europe, playing Ajax, playing at Porto, you cannot consolidate yourself there internationally in Europe. So you come back to Mexico because that's the only place you can play at. I mean, that's, to me, is like a loser mentality. It's like you have already condemned yourself that you can't go any further than just the Mexican league, and you don't even want to try somewhere else. So the fact that we didn't have, I mean, I would like to see someone like Rodrigo Huescas get the start, who was doing things well in Copenhagen, or Julian Araujo, who wasn't even called up for whatever reason. But anyways, that was probably, I think on a rating scale, I think I'd probably give the Mexican national team starting 11 maybe like an 8 out of 10. Overall, pretty good, very decent. And obviously, I mean, given the result, I think that's a fair rating. But like I already said, the US were missing some key players, but they had a very strong starting 11. And I think overall, it was a spectacular performance from the Mexican national team. Raul Jimenez getting on the score sheet from an angle, from a position that I've never seen him score from. In the 21st minute, there's a foul, and I saw Piojo Alvarado over the ball. This was probably like from 25, 30 yards out. And I saw Raul Jimenez on the ball. And I was thinking to myself, why is he standing there? He should be in the box, maybe waiting to get on the end of a cross if there's a cross coming in, or if the goalkeeper lets the ball loose. I mean, he could be right there. But no, I mean, he decided to take it. He decided to take it. And I'm glad he did. And he proved me wrong. And I think this is what obviously what I want to see. Raul Jimenez, that's confident. He's doing things well. To say that he's back, I think is fair because he's performing in the Premier League. I think he was voted for Fulham. The club voted his goal a few weeks ago as one of the goals of the month. He was in contention for Player of the Month in the Premier League as well, given his performances in the Premier League. I think it's fair to say that he's back. Raul Jimenez is back, and that's what we want to see for the Mexican national team because there's been so much pressure on Santi Jimenez to really step up, and he's still young, 23 years old. He's now injured, so he wasn't there for the Mexican national team. But Raul Jimenez, now that he's back, he's able to step up and show that okay, yes, I was out for some time. Basically almost died, and it was a terrible injury that had put him sidelined for a while. And, it's taken a lot of time and I'm sure a lot of hard work to get where he's at right now to have the confidence that he's at. And that's what we want to see. We want to see how Raul Jimenez play with confidence because when he's confident, that's when he's at his best. And when he's at his best, he's just a player that can change the game. He's done that for Wolves. He's doing that now for Fulham. And we're seeing that happen with the Mexican national team. I think he took that game by the scruff of the neck. He took that game where he wanted it. He scored that free kick when a lot of people were probably screaming, why are you going to take that free kick? Just like myself. Why would he take that? And he took it perfectly, executed it perfectly, putting it top right-hand corner, Matt Turner's top left, where he could barely get fingertips on it because there was just so much pace, so much power, so much accuracy behind that free kick. I mean, I feel like it was like a statement. He was just like letting loose all this frustration and anger and just finally silencing a lot of the Mexican national team fans who don't believe that he's back. And yeah, if you didn't think that he's back, well, I think he proved us wrong for sure. And I'm glad that he proved me wrong. I was the one of the people that was saying that he's it's gonna take more time. He's probably shouldn't be getting called up because he is 31, 32 years old. But by the time the World Cup comes around, he's gonna be 34. But as we well know, age is just a number, and a lot of players are showing that in this day and age. And he's one of them. Definitely now he's hitting prime numbers. He's close to surpassing Chicharito. I think he already surpassed Carlos Hermosillo, or he already tied him in Mexican national team all-time top scorers. But in Europe as well, I think he's already reached 100 goals in Europe and just a few goals away from tying Chicharito's record for goals scored in the Premier League. So Raul Jimenez, honestly, it's great to see you back, my friend, because that's what the Mexican national team needs: a player that's different, a player that can carry the team on his shoulders and won't and it won't be a burden to him. He's more than happy to do that because he's done that. He's been there. And Raul Jimenez is that guy. So and the fact also that coaches and players are talking about him, and prominent ones as well, like Pep Guardiola, who faced Raul Jimenez just a few weeks ago, Man City versus Fulham. And if you didn't watch that game, I mean, he provided this beautiful assist, backheel assist with his back facing goal into Andreas Pereira. And it was voted as one of the best assists, I think, for Fulham, but probably in contention for the best assist of the season, the way it was pulled off. And Pep Guardiola himself even said that Raul Jimenez is back. So if Pep Guardiola is saying it, then everyone has got to believe that Raul Jimenez is back 100%. Um, but going back to the talking point of Santiago Jimenez, he is injured. He's for the Mexican national team, he has not stepped up in the way we want him to, and it's understandable. He's young, it's a lot of pressure. Mexican national team is a big national team worldwide. Everyone knows about Mexico. But did we just see Santiago Jimenez lose his starting position to Raul Jimenez? Is that fair to say that he probably lost it? I don't know. I think it depends on Santi Jimenez, see how he comes back after injury, if he's able to find his form first for Feyenoord and then with the Mexican national team. I mean, maybe coming off the bench, he can perform well. If Raul Jimenez is performing this way, I would take a Raul Jimenez 100% over Santiago Jimenez, given that he plays in a much more difficult league. If the Premier League is the best league in the world, and if Raul Jimenez is performing there, I mean, you need that striker to be playing for your international team as well. And not only did Raul Jimenez give a goal, but he also gave an assist in a play where he was kind of one on one with the defender and with or one on one with the goalkeeper. The defender tracks back well. I think it was Tim Ream takes the ball from him when Raul Jimenez tried to cut back, which I don't think he should have. But anyways, in that position, he loses the ball. Tim Ream is dribbling with the ball in a position where he shouldn't be dribbling out of. He should have just cleared it. But Raul Jimenez, and this is what I love about the Mexican national team specifically, but Raul Jimenez in this game, there was not a single ball that he just let go by. Like he was 110% committed to always have the ball at his feet, to always try to do something with the ball. And that was shown with, I mean, he tried to do chilenas, he tried to do rabonas that almost came off beautifully. And then in this assist as well, not letting the ball just, not letting Tim Ream just dribble out and play comfortably, but making a sliding tackle, winning the ball back, falls to Chino Huerta perfectly. And Chino Huerta honestly deserves this goal because he's been performing exceptionally well for the Mexican national team as well. I think he is the best left winger that Mexico has, one of the better left wingers, because I don't think anyone else can compete with him. I don't think Quiñones should be there. I don't think. I mean, Chucky maybe can play on the left wing, but I prefer to see him on the right, where he's kind of stood out the most. But he's not there right now. I mean, Marcelo Flores, he's still 20 years old, but Huerta, he's at the perfect age where he's had a lot of experience. Now he has more international time under his belt. I think he has 12 matches played. Now his third goal with the Mexican national team. So it's good to see that him scoring, and especially that he's playing so well in Liga MX. And obviously there was that talk about him going to Liverpool, and that never went through. But yeah, Chino Huerta kind of just puts the icing on the cake in the 48th minute, second half, right at the beginning of the second half, when the US maybe could have tried to get back in the game, kind of just silenced the whole match. And from there, you kind of just thought, like, oh, yeah, it's pretty much over. There's nothing that the US can do, given that they haven't shown anything throughout the match. I don't think they really only had one opportunity, and that was like in the 80th minute. So overall, I think just beautiful planned out game, and it was great to see the effort, the passion from the players, from the fans, to see a full Guadalajara stadium, and to see the team gain some confidence, much needed confidence, given that we honestly really needed that after that 2-2 draw against Valencia C team. And some notable highlights with Vargas, who got his debut, the Mexican American international, born in Alaska, Mexican parents, and he has decided to represent Mexico from a very young age, even though he has played with the U.S. national team uh, under I forgot. But he started young with the U.S. international team, but growing up to the U20s, U23, he decided to represent the Mexican national team. I'm assuming he probably just feels more Mexican than American, which is fine. And he came in, he came at playing in the midfield. I saw Alexis Vega come on, and I mean that was kind of funny. He got booed off or booed on, which was really weird. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's understandable because the whole turmoil that happened with Chivas and him going back to Toluca after quite a sloppy spell at the club, if I could say that. But overall, I mean, what would I rate this international window? I would probably give it maybe like a 7 out of 10. It's passing because of the result against the US. If we had beaten Valencia in a more in a convincing fashion, I would have given it a 10 out of 10. But the fact that we tied against Valencia in a game that we probably should have won, then I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10. But it's that US result that really, brings up the international window rating. Let me know what you guys think of this international window for the Mexican national team. And it's good to be back. Honestly, it's good to be back. I've missed being able to be in front of the screen, to be talking to the camera, to talking to the microphone, to talk to you guys, to talk about football, because I mean that's what I love to talk about. Even though in Italy, I mean I had a good time. I went to the Italy Belgium game. I really just used that time to just refresh and to be with my family, and to take some time to just focus on myself, not necessarily putting all so much focus on this, because mental health is very important to me, as it should be to all of you as well. But anyways, Mexican national team, if you guys want to see more content from the Mexican national team, make sure to follow, subscribe, check out our Instagram, help us get to 5K. We were very close, just a few K away from there. um, follow Twitter, all different social media platforms, and support your small creators because together we're gonna make it big. It was good to see you guys. It was good to be back, and yeah, let's keep in touch because there's gonna be more content coming out this week, next week, and for quite some time. Let's make it big for 2026. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.